What's good, everybody? Howdy, cowpokes out there. Saddle up, get your popcorn ready. I'm here with the Prodigal Hill. And if you saw on his channel, we are about to expose a delusional AEW asshat live on here.
Oh, yeah, and we both have, trust me, whenever you see this guy, it's going to be like, oh, okay, we know who this is. Because we all know him. He's been here for a while. He's been in the center of attention. He's a freaking drama fucking lord, man.
Well, without any further ado, now here's what we're going to do. When you want to play a little bit of the video and then stop and then critique it and then play it and stop? Or...
Yeah, we might as well, dude. Like I said, it's not that hard, to counter this guy's points here. I mean, he makes it thoroughly easy for us. And like I said, I think that we've probably kind of waited long enough, and we've been trying to be respectful and trying not to, contribute to the drama, because that's not us. Like you said.
Yep.
Between you, myself, Travis, Noob, Steven Rose, we're so far past all this stuff, and so we're trying to bring everybody up with us. We're trying to because we are the mainstream, alternative, sophisticated, sexy alliance, or you can call us massa. For you A&W fans, we are your masses, because that's what we are, and we're trying to help them out, and they don't understand it. We always get this pushback, man.
And by the way, the majority of, for Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, CM Punk, those four guys wish they had arms like I do.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, they probably wish they were at least above 5'5" like you are.
Yep. Well, without further ado, we're about to show it right here now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not responsible for what happens, what we're going to say. So,
killing brain cells is what's going to happen. Protect your brain cells. Put on a tinfoil hat or something.
All right, we ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm not even halfway through this pay-per-view.
Oh.
All Out, AEW. I'm not even halfway through. I'm at 1 hour and 31 minutes. And I just witnessed one of the great...
Now,
right, so, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, doesn't he look so excited? Damn, somebody needed to calm him down.
The first thing I'm going to mention is that AEW is my antidepressant. I deal with mental health issues, but I can guarantee you AEW wouldn't be an antidepressant pill for me. It would make me go and fucking insane.
Yeah, it definitely. I don't think that there's anything anxious about A&W wrestling. In fact, if anything, you could probably go ahead and put it on, and it'll probably put you right to sleep. So he's probably relaxed. He looks like he's about to take a damn nap.
Yeah, let's continue with him.
Greatest tag team matches I've ever witnessed in my entire life. It got me out of my seat. I did a victory lap for Penta and Rey Fenix. I ran around and
I got to call bullshit on that, because does he look like he just did a victory lap?
He looked like he just came out. It looked like he just came out of doing a meth lab.
If he did a victory lap, if he got up out of his seat, it was to go ahead and throw up in the toilet, because he's just wasted about 30 minutes of his fucking life watching Penta and whatever, Santa Maria or whoever the other guy is with Penta.
Here's the thing. You want to say that's the greatest tag team action? What happened to the Road Warriors? What happened to the Steiner Brothers, Harlem Heat, the Hart Foundation, Demolition?
Hell, the Rock and Roll Express. He's already trying to go ahead and look like freaking Adam Cole, who's trying to look like Shawn Michaels. So, I mean, you're telling me that's never gotten you. What about the Brothers of Destruction there? Wasn't this guy a freak of somebody else? Now he's A&W wrestling freak? Ugh.
Well, I'm going to say this real quick before we play it again. it really breaks my heart because everybody knows I'm a big Undertaker fan. And I used to respect him a lot because he was the Undertaker freak. Now he basically becomes a Benedict Arnold and goes, "Hello, Undertaker not here, so I go with AEW."
I could already hear him sitting there saying to me in another freaking chat forum or something on one of his stock accounts, "Oh, Darby Allin could beat the Undertaker for real. He could really hurt the Undertaker really bad. It's good that they don't allow Darby Allin." Oh, come on. That's the kind of arguments they make.
And I whooped and I put my hands in the air and I cheered. And that is something that
God.
I struggle to recall a time when WWE made me do that.
What the fuck? What
Oh,
in the ass?
hold up. He was an Undertaker freak. You mean to tell me you didn't really like the Boneyard match? Undertaker's last match, that didn't get you up on the edge of your seat. Seeing Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns storyline going on, that doesn't get you on the edge of your seat.
Are you kidding me, dude? The highest rated match in professional wrestling, well, recorded as far as as far as modern day wrestling goes, was Stone Cold versus The Undertaker, and that drew in 10 million. Not this 115,000 you like so much. Oh, they didn't worry about no fucking 18 to 49-year-old demographic. It was made for everybody. It was for everyone, not just the 18 to 49-year-olds. And so, yeah, that's what they've been hanging their hat on. And now this clown here is going to sit there and say that, oh, it got me up out of my seat and I cheered, and WWE has never done bullshit. Then you've never watched professional wrestling in your entire life until AEW, which I know is bullshit.
I would love to punch this guy in the jaw. I really would.
Super kick his ass. He's trying to look like Shawn Michaels anyways. That's your prize. Get super kicked in the head for trying to look like Shawn Michaels.
I stopped watching in about 2016. That was the moment where I realized not to go on a sermon on the mount about Vince McMahon. Everybody knows I hate Vince McMahon, but that was the moment where I realized that was around the time where I realized that Vince didn't care about me.
Okay. Of course, Vince doesn't give a fuck about you. He doesn't even know who the hell you are. Why the hell would Vince? Well, I want to know exactly what Undertaker freak would think about this match. You got to think about that, Triple H. Is Undertaker freak gonna like it? Because I don't get it. He doesn't care about me. Yeah. Okay. And he should. For why? Why should he care about Undertaker freak?
Well, here's the thing. Vince McMahon is a billionaire. He started the WWE, bought it from his dad. The first WrestleMania, him and Linda almost went bankrupt. Pretty much bankrupt. If WrestleMania didn't do well, the McMahons would have been bankrupt. So he put his own blood, sweat, and tears and his own money into that company. He don't give a fuck what we think. He doesn't give a fuck what this guy thinks. You still there, Poston?
Yeah, I have to go use the restroom real quick.
I'm gonna play it again for in a minute. And that's the thing too, guys. Is people can say what they want about Mr. McMahon. He's crazy. He's senile. He's old. He's out of touch. I'm not saying that that's not accurate, but what I am saying is you don't become a smart businessman by giving a crap what people think.
Yeah, if Vince McMahon was that concerned about people like him, then he would have went out of business. He had to take chances. He did have to rely on some of his talent, but this guy is going to go off on that. Then he's going to make another incoherent statement that's kind of generic. You hear it a lot, but we'll go ahead and let you play the video real quick.
And more importantly than that, Vince didn't care about the wrestlers who have made him rich.
Okay,
Wrestlers, real talent.
the wrestlers that made him rich. Now, I'm sure that Vince McMahon didn't specifically care for every person on the goddamn roster. That much is for sure. I'll go ahead and give him that. But guys like The Undertaker, guys like Stone Cold, the people he's made money with, always speak highly of him. They all have a job. He's been taking care of them. I think he sent some of the other wrestlers to go get help. So there yet again, this is another generic claim that he makes, and this is like, status quo A&W wrestling fan. And I'm not even a big Vince McMahon fan, so while y'all are trying to sit there and say you're just a Vince McMahon ass kisser, okay, well, I don't watch WWE anymore. However, a large reason why I don't watch WWE is because of these fans right here that have all of a sudden jumped ship to AEW. It's what they were marketing to, man. And so, yeah, go ahead.
Well, here's something else, too. You want to say that he doesn't care about the people that made him money. Well, let me just clarify this. Any wrestler that has like a drug problem, WWE reaches out and puts them in a drug rehab facility. So if Vince didn't care, now he probably didn't care about the Macho Man, but there's also little conspiracies about him and Stephanie McMahon. We're not going to get into that, but you can say what you want about Hogan. He put Hogan, Hogan helped put him on the map. He helped put Hogan on the map, but at the same time, too, Hogan left and went to WCW. Went to his competition, almost put him out of business. So,
I mean, look at Triple H. He's one of the guys. Now he's married to his daughter. Look at The Rock. So he's done stuff for certain members. Now, if you want to say that Vince McMahon plays favoritism, okay, you can sit there and say that. But to sit there and say that he doesn't care about the wrestlers on his rock, I'm sorry that Vince McMahon didn't give a shit about signing Kenny Omega with your little Kenny Omega shirt trying to look like a Stone Cold shirt. I get it. I understand. You're outraged for that. But to sit there and say that he doesn't care about any of the wrestlers, yeah, that's a little bit of overkill right there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, Kenny Omega was in a WWE developmental system before it was NXT, but he didn't hack it. He couldn't make it. So what happens is he goes to
A&W Wrestling, and now he's the champion. I mean, it would be different if maybe it was EC3. I could see that because EC3 is a fucking legend. But Kenny Omega, man. Kenny Omega. So, yeah, it's not the same.
Talent, athletes, people who put their bodies and necks on the line being micromanaged by a capitalist, greedy shitbag.
Okay.
I got so sick and...
Okay. Understand one fucking thing, you damn retard. Okay. You call him a capitalist. Monopolizing a fucking company is not capitalism. That's just the opposite of capitalism. Having more businesses out there would be capitalism. Having more competition out there would be capitalism. Not Tony Khan hijacking other people's shit, trying to put together, fling crap together to try and make it seem like it's competition when he has clearly no intentions of being competition for Vince McMahon. Even whenever he does sign main event talent, which he doesn't really have, but he got mid-card, he's got super mid-card talent, but even with the talent that he signs, he doesn't do anything with them. You understand? And see, that is what's hurting capitalism. Whenever you have a guy like Billy Corrigan, and whenever you have a company like Impact that's trying to make these moves, that's trying to go ahead and trying to develop an entertaining product to go ahead and keep up with WWE, with AEW always hijacking that platform from people, or hijacking their ideas like they did in New Japan, or hijacking half the company's wrestlers like they did to ROH, putting them out of business. That's the opposite of capitalism. What WWE is doing is opposite of capitalism. They're trying to go ahead and monopolize a market that's closer to that socialism, to that fascism that you claim to support. So, yeah.
let me clarify something too. This is something for you guys if you don't understand money and you don't understand how to make money and how important it is. Let me just clarify something here. Vince was smart by taking his company public, and that's where all these WWE fans were like, "Oh my God, when he took it public, they went away from the TV 14." I'm like, here's the thing. In the 80s, it was PG. You dumb fucks.
It was very, very PG in the 80s. I didn't even watch WWE in the 80s because, I mean, they were always doing stuff like the gobbledygook and stuff. And Undertaker thought he was going to be the gobbledygook, and I'm surprised that Vince McMahon, all right, you're 7'1". Get in that gobbledygook outfit. And it wouldn't have surprised me at all. I wasn't a big WWF guy. I was a WCCW guy. I was watching the edgy content, watching the Fabulous Freebirds and Ric Flair and these personalities that were larger than life. I wasn't watching no damn fucking turkey strut around the ring. That didn't even appeal to me at all.
And also they had like a wrestler called Bastion Booger. I mean, let's just clarify it there. I mean, like, I think Bastion Booger might be Tony Khan's grandfather, but the biggest thing about this money situation is you can't blame Vince McMahon for being a businessman, for taking his company public. Yeah, he's got sponsors and stuff to answer to, which can make or break a company. I agree with that. But at the same time, if any of us on YouTube had and you know this, Paulson, and I would do, and I'm not afraid to admit this, if I had a wrestling company and somebody like Peacock came to me and gave me $1 billion deal to stream on there, you damn right I'm going to do it. I mean, like, if Fox comes to me and goes, "Hey man, we're gonna sign your show for 4 or 5 years for $2 billion a year," I'll be like, "Sign me up."
And I'll be honest with you. See, these guys never seen wrestling. They don't know what capitalism is. But I guarantee you, the territories were set up like a capitalist type system. And this is where you get all your Undertakers. This is where you get your Stone Colds. This is where you get your Hulk Hogans. This is where you get your Warriors. This is where you get your main event status that Vince McMahon just so happened to take advantage of. And, after all of those guys started to retire and they started putting over guys like, say, a Kurt Angle and a, Edge and a Brock Lesnar, and then you had your John Cena's come in, then all of a sudden you've seen the interest go down because they couldn't make that, because a controlled market cannot produce like a free market can. And this guy doesn't understand that because he's never seen it in practice. He's never seen capitalism in practice. He only hears about it in theory. And so, you and I grew up in the territory, so we know exactly how it was back in the days. It was great. And now, all of a sudden, it's getting more and more controlled. And you want to sit there and claim that WWE is PG and, he's a capitalist and he's just trying to, but AEW, it's not PG and it's just as lame.
Well, I have something to say to somebody else too. You remember when a certain somebody said that they were talking about the demographic? Well, their own guy, Tony Khan, said that back in the Attitude Era, they didn't care about the damn demographic.
No. And they cared about getting ratings. You understand? And it's not like you're doing that great in the demographic. You can't sit there and say that your low ratings are somehow irrelevant because a portion of those low ratings are what matters. That makes no sense whatsoever. Are the ratings low? Yes. Does it matter how many of these people are in some said demographic? No, it doesn't at all.
So we continue with this little dick face?
Yeah.
Tired of the threadbare storylines. I got so sick and tired of Roman Reigns this, Roman Reigns that, old Berg openly admitting that.
Oh, he's a fucking draw. He's believable.
He's one of those fans. It was like, why Why they hire part-time wrestlers? They take it away from guys like Kevin Owens and all of them.
Okay. This is truth time. Go ask Mel, would she rather watch Kenny Omega in a wrestling ring, or would she be more interested in seeing a guy like Roman Reigns? Honest. You know what I'm saying? Does she want to see 5'2" fucking Kenny Omega running around in pajamas, or would she rather see fucking Roman Reigns in his badass Shield uniform? A masculine guy, you know?
She just said Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Because he's, he works out, he takes care of himself, he's believable in the ring, and that's who you would want to see. You don't want to see freaking Darby Allin get up on the turnbuckle and just fall backwards and then have somebody sell like he did some for real shit. No.
See, and by the way, too, it's not a bad thing that Edge and Randy Orton, to get more money and get more money from WWE, they use AEW as leverage. I have no problems with that whatsoever. I mean, that's smart business.
And I mean, yeah, it is.
And the thing about this guy, talking about Goldberg the way he is, let me just clarify something. Goldberg was a real good shot in the arm for WCW. And despite what you say, I saw the Crown Jewel match between him and Bobby Lashley. It was one of his best matches since he's came back. And the fact that he speared Bobby Lashley off the top of the damn off the stage through a table, got right back up, and did his snarl. And yet you're going to say Oberg. I'm sitting there thinking, but then again, they had a death match between Kenny Omega and John Moxley where it was Botch City.
And Jericho, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's not too much younger than what you considered Oldenburg. You know what I'm saying? And these guys are mainstays on the roster.
Yep.
So, there yet again, Goldberg has definitely contributed more than any of these little. It's almost like a really, really bad E-Fed. It's really bad.
Let's see what he says here now.
That he hasn't trained in a ring in 13 years and expecting me to be excited to see him in a wrestling ring again. Bork laser all over the place. I suffered through heel Michael Cole for an entire year. And you know what? I just got to ask a question real quick. What the hell? Is that supposed to be a hit at Brock Lesnar, the Bork laser?
Yeah, baby. Here's the thing. At 54, 55 years old, Goldberg looks better than half of you motherfuckers on this channel, on this YouTube. Hell, I wish I had the body like Goldberg at 50. Like when I get close to 50, I turn 40 next year. If I could have his body at 50, I'd be great. I'd be happy. I don't see what the hell was wrong with you guys.
Oh, I know. I guarantee you that little freaking emaciated Shawn Michaels here would fucking give his fucking right testicle to even come remotely close to looking like freaking Bill Goldberg. And before you go off on your little tangent on what did he call him, Bork laser, what the hell is that even supposed to mean? Because Brock Lesnar is one of the most legit fighters in the fucking business today. And then they have Bobby Lashley. So I mean, you're going to tell me that AEW can put something to compete with that?
I would love for some of you AEW fans. You know what? I would pay some of you AEW fans if y'all went to Brock Lesnar face to face and called him a name and said that he sucked or stuff like that. I would love to see Brock Lesnar manhandle the majority of you.
Yeah, and where does he live now? In Saskatchewan, Canada?
Yeah,
go freaking Saskatchewan in the middle to his property. And then say that, because I want to record it.
This guy is the same type of fan who probably got pissed when Punk had that title run, and all of a sudden he came back and oh my god, they gave it to The Rock.
Oh yeah, and with all due respect, because I know that there's a lot of Daniel Bryan fans out there, The second match with The Rock, I would have definitely went ahead and had it been The Rock instead of Rock versus Cena twice in a lifetime. It would have been Daniel Bryan. That way, all of these little freaking Daniel Bryan fans that ended up hijacking the show and causing the ratings to just fucking plummet after that. A lot of people don't understand that the reason why WWE lost so much rating was because of that little Daniel Bryan pushing him to the moon. They used him to bury the Wyatts. They used him to bury the Shield. And by trying to appease these fans, they went ahead and used Daniel Bryan. And this is exactly what happened to the ratings. This is why WWE's in the twos. Whenever they could have promoted somebody that would have been a bigger draw, would have had more success in the business, would have had more longevity, they went ahead and because CM Punk was, and with all due respect to CM Punk did get a little bit of a ratings increase.
Yeah, he did.
But it wasn't to the effect of actually revolutionizing WWE. You know, it was just slight. It was a slight increase with the Summer of Punk, and then whenever they moved away to Punk, and then they started going to the much more vanilla Daniel Bryan, which to me he's not great in the ring. I think he's okay. He'd be a great ground and pound technician if he was utilized properly. But doing the high flippy jump back stuff that he was doing, it didn't look believable. And that's whenever everybody's like, oh, well, this, we all know that wrestling's fake, but this looks fake,
Oh, and by the way, Poston, the two WrestleManias that The Rock wrestled was actually really high buy rates. They were in the million buy rates on pay-per-view when The Rock was WWE champion. You see, business-wise, guys, The Rock is one of the biggest names in Hollywood. Dwayne Johnson, one of the biggest names in Hollywood. And he wins the WWE championship. He takes that belt to Hollywood. That's all eyes on the product. Do you understand how to run a business? That's how you do it.
Yeah. And I mean, they just, and I said this about the Daniel Bryan fans, and it still holds true to today with the AEW wrestling, is I think that the reason that these guys like AEW is because the wrestlers on the roster remind them of them. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who would rather be playing video games than actually be athletic and be in a sport.
Let's listen to Mr. AEW here.
My passion for professional wrestling as a whole was just it was in the doldrums. I mean, I watched New Japan, but I needed more. I watched Impact, but you guessed it, I needed a little more. AEW comes around. Lots of hype, lots of promise, lots of promises.
Okay, hang on real quick. I want to respond. It sounds like you need a fucking job. That's what it sounds like. Because if you spend all day watching all of these wrestling products with all their shows and all their content, and you still need more after that, maybe you just need to put in 8 hours at the old grindstone and earn a paycheck, and then maybe you wouldn't be sitting over here watching CNN, MSNBC, all the shit that you watch to make you fucking think that the world is ending, and then I wouldn't have to pay for it and have to wear a fucking mask everywhere I go. Yeah?
I guarantee you he's part of Antifa.
Oh, yeah, well, he gets into something else that I won't address here in a second. But, yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. I was, but, yeah.
Let's listen a little bit more to him.
And holy shit, have they delivered and then some. Oh, my God. This is wrestling. I don't care how many of you WWE marks out there or Jim Cornette.
And I've only had a feud with Jim Cornette, by the way. And, of course, that'll make us WWE marks because the product isn't that good. You notice that?
Here's something else, too. He's probably one of those guys, when he sleeps at night, he probably fantasizes about Kenny Omega naked.
And he probably thinks about doing ungodly things to Kenny. You know what? We need to get this guy's address and send him a little Kenny Omega plush. You know, they're probably buy one, get one free anyway. Hell, half the places will probably pay us to take the Kenny Omega plush. So we need to buy one and send it to him.
I wonder if AEW will come up with one of those like wrestling buddies they used to have with Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Have like, you know, have one for Kenny Omega so that way he can go like, oh, Kenny, oh.
Yeah. I'd say, hey, the only way I'm buying this little Kenny Omega plush here is if you pay shipping and handling so I can send it to fucking A&W Wrestling Freak.
Fanboys who deride this kind of stuff as flippy shit or acrobatic or vanilla midget. You know what? This to me is professional wrestling, and it's more than the flips. It's more than the acrobatics. It's the fact that they find a way week in, week out to get me to sit my ass here on this couch and feel compelled enough to watch what is happening on the TV.
Okay.
On the TV, look at that. I sound like I'm 50 years old. And why? Because
at least he. I'll give him credit. We have to give him credit because at least he admits they're vanilla midget and acrobats. That's the first I've ever heard an A&W wrestling fan not sit there and get triggered and say, you're not vanilla midgets and you're not acrobat. They are. At least he admits it. He's come to the realization that they are vanilla midgets and they are acrobats.
I guarantee you that, you know, those acrobats, I guarantee you that the cafeteria person that cooks for AEW is probably that woman that you would see at the carnival with like a horn on her head.
Or some Hispanic lady who they got kind of like off a Family Guy, right? You remember the old Spanish lady that worked in the school cafeteria? Somebody like that. And every time that one of these AEW guys come in sitting there showing off their muscle to her, she's just like, Chingao.
I guarantee you he would, like, if he was an older guy, he'd be like the guy from Family Guy, the Kenny Omega. He'd be like, hi, Kenny. You want to lick a popsicle?
Hey, Chris. What? Hey, Meg. Where's your brother Chris?
Tony Khan gives them the creative leeway that they need to create compelling stories, to create compelling matches, to put on an entertaining product that is still athletic and professional wrestling. Try to get that out of.
And Kenny, Tony Khan has full creative control. He may let them dabble in their characters or whatnot, but I'm sorry, MJF. I know MJF is a great talker. Yep. He's a great talker because he's definitely believable as a heel. Be a great chicken shit heel. However, with that being said, MJF, if it was your idea to go out there and do a song and number with Chris Jericho, then I'm sorry. You don't have a creative bone in your body.
You know, here's the thing too about that situation. The Jacksonville Jaguars suck, and we all know that the Jaguars eventually are probably going to be moving to England. So I don't know what Tony Khan's going to do when his dad sells Jacksonville. But you know what they could do is put some of the AEW wrestlers as some of the football players on Jacksonville. I mean, that would. We could have even more vanilla midgets playing.
Well, you know what? Since they don't have much of too many fans, you know. You go over there, you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and their stadium is virtually empty. I guess what Tony Khan could do is to say, all right, guys, this Sunday, Kenny, Chris, freaking Sting, all of you guys are going to have to go to the Jacksonville Jaguar games. And you're going to have to wear Trevor Lawrence jerseys because my dad's team is losing money, and they're going to send it to... They're going to send it to London. So we need to go ahead and throw our support around our Florida team here. So, yeah, part of being a part of the AEW being a part of the AEW roster is mandatory having to go to Jacksonville Jaguar football games on Sunday.
You know what's also funny too is the fact you have some of those fans. Some of those AEW fans have been booing Cody Rhodes, and I know Cody Rhodes is a social justice warrior. Don't get me wrong, but Cody's actually got more talent than half of that talent on that roster, and he comes from lineage, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. He understands the business, but yet you got the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega's like, I want to play video games. I want to look like this. And the Young Bucks look like a freaking ripoff of the damn Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. So,
but you know what I bet? You know what I bet? Whenever the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are back there playing the AEW wrestling game, they're actually putting themselves as like, you know, to look like Hulk Hogan and to look like like The Undertaker and whatnot. All these people that they're always bashing all the time, they go ahead and hype up their stats and they go ahead and make themselves a whole 6 foot. And then they, 6'7", because they're not going to play with themselves. You're not going to play with 5'2" Kenny Omega or 5'8" freaking Young Bucks. Hell no. They want to be 7 foot. So I bet you they even adjust their own fucking characters on the damn video games. I don't want to be 5'8" no more. I want to be 6'7" like Hulk Hogan. Because they're marks, dude. They're fucking marks.
I guarantee you, when they're in their video game, they probably put themselves to like a 110 rating or 100 rating.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then they go out and they're like, I'm going to show The Rock. Yeah, I'm going to show The Rock. I'm going to beat The Rock. I'm going to make a character. I'm going to call him The Rock. And I'm going to say that I should be the Hollywood star and you should be here where I am. That's probably what they're saying.
And here's the thing too. And if you're one of those people that basically gets the carts outside, I'm pretty sure The Rock can do it better than you can.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, I mean, it's funny. They all want to be Stone Cold. They all want to be The Rock.
You damn right.
But they damn sure don't want to. They don't want to put the effort into doing what they did to get where they were at. I mean, like I said, back in the territory days, yeah, these guys would have been run out. There's no way that they would definitely made the roster. You know what I'm saying? A guy like Bruiser Brody, a guy like Arn Anderson would have dropped these guys as hard as they could, and then that would be it for them. They would be giving up.
The Blackjacks would have. Man, the Blackjacks would have slapped the Young Bucks around.
Oh yeah, they took that shit seriously, man.
Vince McMahon. Yeah, try to get that out of NXT. It's just going to basically become the land of the steroided giants all over again. Try to get that out of them.
But that's like the same audience. The NXT audience is the same AEW audience. It's the same audience.
And it's funny too, because we know someone else who would go like, well, AEW beat NXT 63 times. They don't want to talk about the fact that NXT beat them 10 times. And if you look at the ratings between both of them, it wasn't that very much they beat NXT. See, Triple H tried to do what you fans wanted. He brought in all those internet darlings. He brought in the Adam Coles and all that, and the Tamawa's Ciampa and all these vanilla midgets that you guys wanted. And it wasn't working. So Vince was like, you know what? We're going to go back to what made it work. The Rock was a homegrown talent. Roman Reigns was. John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, Brock Lesnar. And when you have homegrown talent like Edge, like Seth Rollins, and a few of those other guys, you see why homegrown talent actually does better than what you fans want.
Yeah, and like I said, you could take the NXT ratings and put them under AEW and the AEW ratings and put them under NXT, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I could tell you anything. And I could say, oh, yeah, this week NXT drew 800,000 and AEW only drew 600,000. But I guarantee you that 600,000 fan base, they're just flipping back and forth. So they're watching both shows. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, posting. You forgot about the demographic. The demographic.
Oh, I'm sorry, only 135,000 of that 600,000 really counts.
Right.
Yeah, because I know that's what I'm sitting there. I want to get even lower ratings, so I don't care about the other, 500,000. I only care about the 100,000 that's the key demographics. That's all I care about.
But you don't understand, Posty. If you go on the wrestling tees, CM Punk shirts sold out everywhere.
You better not. You better not. Kenny Omega better sell to John Cena, because my daddy Vince, he likes making money. He doesn't like sitting there saying, hey, what would, he doesn't never tell me, John, what would really be great is instead of trying to draw in 3 million people, if we could really draw in that 135,000 of the key demographics, that's what we need to focus on, not the other 3 million people that watch our product.
Oh, you know something, John. The fact it is, man. The fact that, I put wrestling on the map, dude. I got like 10 back surgeries, brother. And you want to know what I could do? I can go to AEW and I can win the world title, man. I can put that company back on the map because I'm Hulk Hogan.
No, you can't. They said that you was banned because it's only about that 135,000 key demographics there, Mr. Hogan.
Well, you know something? I tell you what I could do, man. I could go over there and talk to Ted Turner, man. I know he's got dementia and he ain't thinking well, dude, but I could get him to possibly buy AEW and give it back to Eric Bischoff, man.
Oh, wouldn't that be hilarious if fucking AEW got bought out by Hulk Hogan of all people?
I'd watch it.
I probably would tune in too, because I know that Hogan is a big fan of calling it A&W wrestling, just like I am.
And it's funny too that I know what these fans are going to say. Wait a minute, dude! You saw what happened with TNA? They brought in Hogan and Bischoff, and look what happened.
Yeah, it still got more ratings than you. That's what happened.
Try to tell me that this is not compelling television. Sure, we all have our opinions, and that's fine. That's okay.
Hold on a second. My pug taking a shit is more entertaining than AEW.
I haven't seen anything entertaining on it yet, and I tuned in to watch whenever they brought in Sting, because I'm like, okay, well, they're really trying to do some shit here.
Right.
And you wait, and then you wait, and then you wait, and then nothing, so you tune it off, right? And then they bring in CM Punk. And somebody sent me the damn video of CM Punk making his debut, and I was like, oh, this isn't great at all, but I'll tune in next week to see what they do. See if they're going to do something with it. And of course, it's the same shit that he did last week. And then they bring him in at the end of the show. And it's like, okay, well, what am I watching this for? Because this is not good at all. It's not entertaining.
I hate to tell you guys, but Impact Wrestling, NWA Power, and WWE has a better women's roster than AEW.
Oh, I like Impact's women's roster, dude. They were on fire there for a while. Actually, Velvet Sky right now is doing commentary for NWA. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
She didn't sound like she was interested in the match at all. She was just out there like, I don't know, but I don't know who this guy is. But man, better. I'm like, God, Velvet, I know. And she didn't do a bad job at commentary, but I mean, you used to watching Jerry the King Lawler and freaking Jim Ross. Oh, and then Jerry's like, oh no, you're cheating. Oh no. And then, no, bullshit. They were adding that extra dimension of commentary. One good thing to say about AEW wrestling.
Another good thing about AEW wrestling is the fact that I do like hearing Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross together. I do enjoy hearing them. Their experience in calling matches. I enjoy Christian Cage. I enjoy Sting. And I enjoy MJF. I think he's one of the best heels they got.
I mean, they have stuff there that could be done to make it entertaining. I agree. Of course, the only issue that I really have with their commentary is that they have two face commentators. You know what I'm saying? Because Jim Ross is a face commentator, and Tony Schiavone is a face commentator, and it'd be hard to turn them heel at this point because we already know what to expect from them. So they don't really have that true heel commentator to sit there and call it differently. But yeah, they have talent on that roster. I've never said that they didn't have any talent on that roster. There's some guys on there that I like, but the show sucks still. It's not making the show any better, you know, and it's unfortunate.
But to be looking at what's going on the WWE side of things, Goldberg, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, getting rid of talent in the middle of a goddamn pandemic, talent that could have actually done some good and could have actually been used in a meaningful manner.
Okay.
I mean,
okay, if that talent was going to do so much good, then why did it have to take for a pandemic to come out before they were going to start living up to their potential? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
you were talking about Goldberg and Brock. AEW brings out CM Punk, and all of a sudden, they're sitting out and they're saying, "Oh, how great this is for wrestling," and they're talking about CM Punk and how they got the 1.2 million viewers and whatnot. WWE brings out Brock Lesnar the following pay-per-view, and that next SmackDown, it draws almost 3 million people. So we can tell.
With Becky Lynch being back, which a lot of people like her.
Yeah. So we can tell exactly who the draws are.
And Ronda Rousey already had her baby, and she said once she had her baby, she would be coming back. So we'll probably have Ronda Rousey back in WWE eventually. So I'm sitting there looking at it like this. WWE during the pandemic, yes, they did release a lot of people, but they also made a lot of money while AEW was in the red during the pandemic. So, yes, was it stupid of them to get rid of Bray Wyatt? Absolutely. I'll say it. It was stupid. But at the same time, look at Matt Hardy. When Matt Hardy went to AEW and he brought back the broken character, I was excited, and then they got rid of the broken character.
And I'll tell you this too. Bray Wyatt should go to Impact because I think he'll make the most impact in Impact. If he were to come out and say, join Decay,
yeah,
you know how fucking epic that would be? You want to talk about hijacking any kind of momentum that AEW had this year. I think that if Bray Wyatt goes to Impact, was to maybe form an alliance, bring in a guy like Madman Fulton to join with him too in Decay, and then expand Decay a little bit more. Holy shit, dude! Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman may go to Impact. Bring him back with freaking Bray Wyatt. Have Madman Fulton, and then have them team up with Decay somewhere along the line. And
you know what you also could do, Dan? You can have Bray Wyatt versus Moose for the Impact Championship.
Yeah, you could. And like I said, I like what they did with Moose. I've been hoping Impact had enough good sense to put the fucking belt on Moose, but guess what they did? They went ahead, brought in Kenny Omega, and actually them partnering with AEW took them back because it didn't benefit them for damn sure. They didn't get shit out of it.
Nope.
Didn't help them at all.
give me a fucking break. Going to Saudi Arabia, leaving the women behind still. And somehow people keep making fucking excuses up in their head to sit there and watch this man who I came to the realization in 2016.
I don't even know what he was talking about, the Saudi Arabia thing. I don't know what he's talking about. I know that he had shows in Saudi Arabia, but
here the last two shows they've had in Saudi Arabia, they finally have been able to let they finally been able to let the WWE women wrestle there. Now, yes, they have to be wearing a t-shirt and they have to be covered because in Saudi Arabia women can't show skin. But the last Saudi Arabia show I saw, they had a Queen of the Ring tournament. They had Becky versus Bianca versus Sasha, and they had another women's match. So they had three, and they had a women's refereeing Edge and Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell match. So now, I don't know what this ass clown is trying to say.
Now, this is the same guy who used to jump on his little video podcast and claim that everybody is a racist and that we should be more understanding of other people's cultures, while he's sitting there going ahead and discriminating against other people's cultures. He'd be the first one to lecture a motherfucker on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't get to make the laws in Saudi Arabia, and these are the laws that are in Saudi Arabia. So whenever WWE goes to Saudi Arabia and they're going to put on a show because they're trying to bring a market over there to that part of the world, so they could have something over there as entertainment, some form of entertainment over there, and trying to go ahead and push the wrestling market and broaden out his brand and whatnot. You know, you're going to have to play. You're going to have to go by their law. All right. And, you know, I mean, right now, look exactly these same people right now, just a year ago, would sit there and have an utter fucking meltdown if you went into a store without a mask on. So let's not hold too many double standards there.
Right. Let me look at the comments here real quick.
We'll put up some comments. Yeah, we'll respond to some comments.
Travis said that, let's see, I'm going to try to read this. That Sticks Hammer 666 is watching the Troll Poston. And Leon, you know, Scorpion Death Drop said AEW is my antidepressant, and that video has over 1,000 views. Talk about seeking attention. What,
the AEW wrestling? But I look at his sub count too. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's been setting the world on fire. And since most of the freaking views on here that y'all talk about so much are not legitimate, Leon, yeah, I got to sit there and say suspect. I don't sit around and butt my shit up all day. You know what I'm saying? I have a job, or, you know, even if I don't have a job, I'm looking for a job. I'm looking to be a productive member of society. Unlike this anti-depressed A&W wrestling fan whose sole mission it is to sit there and click like on his video 350 times with about 250 of his sock account.
About that Vince McMahon, not only he doesn't just not give a shit about me. It's not just me he doesn't give a shit about. It's the talent. It's the
Okay. What talent is he referring to? He needs to be more specific, because I wouldn't consider half these people that have been let go having an incredible amount of talent. They may have a marginalized, you know, amount of talent, but not incredible talent.
Talent that has made him rich for years. He doesn't give a fuck about them. Tony Khan, yeah, he's still a billionaire. Yeah, that's still pretty immoral. But at the same time, he's
okay. Gotta push. Okay. Since when did it become immoral to be, you know, to have money, to be successful in life? When did that become immoral? I don't get it. And this is me defending your buddy, Tony Khan. He's a billionaire. How does that make him immoral for just being a billionaire? That doesn't make any sense.
We're having doors installed. He is providing these real athletes, people he understands are real athletes with real ideas, with the ability to be themselves, more or less, or to be whatever outlandish character they want to be, to not micromanage them. And it shows in the product. Again, I still have CM Punk versus Darby Allin to watch. I still have Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage. And I still got the Jericho and MJF match. And you know what? If this stopped right here, I would already feel like I got my money's worth. Call me a fanboy. Maybe I am.
You're a fanboy.
At least.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me clarify what he was talking about there. The MJF and Jericho feud was actually really good. That was one of the good bright spots to All Out. And I was glad that Christian Cage beat Kenny Omega for the Impact Championship. That was something that I was happy about.
Oh, that had to happen, man. That had to happen because Kenny. But like I said, I think that they screwed loose putting that on Kenny Omega, man.
Right. And, the biggest thing is about him, this guy right here is just, you could tell he's a social justice warrior. You can just tell he's like, like, I'm the one that went over there and got my vaccine.
And like I said, just the disdain. And this is the bad thing, is because even if, with a guy like MJF, right? A guy like Scorpio Sky, who I watched his freaking deal with CM Punk, and I'm like, this is what you're doing with this man?
Right.
What you're doing with Scorpio Sky, a true badass? You're going to put him over there and then say, my ex-girlfriend Wendy called me now because I'm facing you because you're a legend. No, don't do that to that man. But I think that if any one of these guys actually had any real success, if they were making it, and this is for that whole fan base and that whole ideology altogether, the moment you start making it, the moment you start being successful, I think that they would drag them back down. I think that if Scorpio Sky started to get out there, started to get marketable, all of a sudden the AEW fans wouldn't like him anymore because he would be having success and they would be jealous. So you're talking about the most jealous, envious fan base out there, and it's not good. It's not good to be around.
And it's funny, Paul, since I'm doing this interview next Friday with this wrestling company that does their own videos here on YouTube, called the YouTube Wrestling Show. They put on a better product than AEW Wrestling. And they already got almost 30K subs. And they're, it's a husband and wife that runs this company. And the woman puts on a better show than half the women on the roster.
That's not hard from what I am to understand. Now, I don't watch AEW like that. But whenever I was watching that, I was watching some sort of the deal before All Out. They had a little press conference. Mark Henry was drunk. Darby Allin sounded like a complete doofus. Christian Cage sounded irritated. And the only one that was even moderately, coherent and, you could listen to without cringing was Britt Baker. But from what I'm to understand is that most of the rosters, female roster is like that. But like I said, this is the problem, is that, they think that they're so much better than everybody else, man, that it's, what can you say? I don't know. It's not like it would take that much.
So I can look at this shit objectively, and if I see something that...
Yes, dude. Yes, AEW Freak. That's a vibrator coming for you.
That's what I was fixing to ask. Is that a vibrator that he's sitting on or something that keeps making that noise?
If I see something that I think is crap, just like when I was watching WWE, you know what? I will call it crap. And I got to tell you, I almost forgot. This whole QT Marshall versus Big Show thing, not really looking forward to watching it. And that is something. But
of course, because the Bigfoot show is over 6 foot. But I mean, the thing didn't look that good neither. Yeah, I'll give him that. The setup for it was kind of ridiculous. It was kind of stupid. It was kind of forced. And it looked like filler. But
and Big Show had that hip surgery, and I'm just kind of like, at this point, you really got nothing to prove. You're a former WCW, you're a former WWE, you're a former ECW champion. You really got nothing to prove.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Pick up the AEW title? Woo!
just like anything else, just like any television series, just like any movie, some of them are going to be stinkers. Not all of them could be gems. In the words of Primus, they can't all be zingers. Okay, I can't. Getting out of my seat, running around like I was 14 again, and just being excited for what I was watching. It feels so great because this world has dumped a giant, massive stinking boulder of feces on all of our heads for the past.
Okay, pause. And I wonder who could be responsible for that, huh? Because I know I wasn't out there saying, "Oh, we need to go ahead and panic. Oh my God, you don't care about old people. Oh my God," and doing all this social. That wasn't me doing all that stuff. So, yeah, I wonder who could be responsible for the world taking a big ass dump on our heads. Maybe guys like this guy.
It's chicks like him. It's chicks like him.
Yeah.
That basically make this world look like a shit bag full of like the old saying, Poston, you can only put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag and you're going to get this crap.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm not going to sit there and lie to him. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty terrible. But if a lot of it has to do with his enlightenment,
All right, let's go back to him.
For the past year and a half, and I think that knowing that I have this to come to every week, and knowing that by and large I'm not going to be disappointed, and that even if I am disappointed, knowing that I'm watching real athletes be able to do their real thing in a controlled, scripted manner. Yeah,
Hold up. I got something to say about that. I've actually trained in the ring. I've been in the ring. You can say that's a scripted thing all you want, but let me tell you something. That ring hurts. That ropes hurt. First time I ever hit the ropes, I had a big, giant rope gash all over my back. And I still got effects from my back from doing that shit. So don't sit there and, I hate people like that tells me, oh well, it's scripted. It's scripted. Anybody can get hurt. Look at Darren Drozdov. Man's in a wheelchair.
And I've been in the ring before. I think whenever I met Velvet Sky, I actually got into the ring. And whenever I got into the ring, I was like, oh, okay, maybe it'll have a little bit. That motherfucker didn't have any give. It was almost just like a plywood covered with a fucking tarp. And I was like, holy shit. And she goes, yeah, it hurts for real. And I'm like, yeah, I'd imagine it does. Please don't bounce me off of it. You know what I'm saying?
Me and my buddy Hunter, we both done the wrestling before. And I took apart a wrestling ring and I put one together before. That is nothing but boards underneath that mat. And yeah, there's really not much give at all. And for this, and something else too, he keeps giving a dirty look to the people who are fixing his door. I'm sitting there thinking, you better be lucky your lucky stars if someone's actually coming to do their job while you sit there and do a video while this guy's working. That's disrespectful in itself.
But yeah, and then he keeps looking at him and giving him the go to hell look. All right, Jack Aston, freeze your ass off because I know where you are.
Yep.
It's just what a time to be alive and to be a professional wrestling fan.
God.
This here.
Oh my God. How many times have you heard that? I mean, Brad brings that up all the time. Oh, guys, what a time to be a wrestling fan. So cringy. Make it stop.
Of all of the things in my life right now that are just going so south, this just keeps trending northward. And I like I said, I still have I'm only halfway through this. I live in Finland, so I can't stay up.
Okay, now, I don't know why his life is still shit. Because listening to this guy, whenever he lived in Ohio, oh, everything is so shit here in the United States, and we're so many racism, and we have all this police brutality, and everything's so horrible here in the United States. And if I moved over there to these Norwegian countries, everything would be perfect. Ain't that what you said? Oh, free healthcare and all this other stuff. So why are you still miserable in Finland? That's one thing that got me about this video.
I could stay up, 3 a.m. and watch it live, but I didn't. So here I am watching it at, what is it now, 1:30 p.m. on a Monday. So I've avoided most of the spoilers, and I'm fairly certain that there's going to be another huge debut. But again, I have avoided social media like the plague. I don't know, but if that occurs too, I will have to get out of my seat and run around and jump around all over again.
Do you believe that
Because
this got out of his seat and run around and jumped around? Especially while somebody's working on the door, by the way. So, you know, you have people over there working on your house right now so you don't freeze. And, you know, because you live in Finland, but Finland's so awesome, but now everything's shut down. So now you're miserable again. And you're watching A&W wrestling while the guy's working on your door and you're running around like an idiot because of a wrestling match. I don't think so. I don't believe it. I just think that I think he's a poser, or just say it right now.
I know that if this particular talent is given the ability to shine in this company, his last name rhymes with Ryan, or his WWE last name. Okay, his last name rhymes with Manuelson. If they give this guy the creative leeway that Miro never got when he was in WWE, that Moxley never got when he was in WWE, when any of these people who were in WWE never got the chance to shine. Oh my God, the matches he could have, the stories they could tell, the storylines they could weave.
Okay, pause. I just want to go ahead and make a note that those storylines that they could tell and those matches they could have, they don't care about the other 400, 500,000 people who may be annoyed. They only care about the 135,000 people that are in that key demographic. That's all that matters.
You know, and another thing too with this whole situation too is you got this guy going like, well, I thought I thought Daniel Bryan would be better at AEW, not realizing that the only reason why he is there in the first place is because he wanted to wrestle some different talent. He got the same exact contract from WWE, same offer. And he's the one going around not saying a bad word about WWE. Christian is being smart about that because they know that if AEW ever goes out of business, they know not to rock the cradle that feeds them.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think that they're clever enough to see the writing on the wall. Come up to AEW, get a quick paycheck. I don't blame Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson or whatever his name is. I don't blame them for going and taking advantage of the situation. That's smart.
Yeah.
But with that being said, don't tell me that all of a sudden this is a game changer, because we clearly see that this isn't the case.
I'm not even sure why I'm making this video. It's just like I saw the match.
I'm not sure why you made this video either. Attention seeker.
Got up, I did my dance, and I'm like, oh, here's an ancient impulse. I used to turn on my camera and make videos when I felt sad or happy, and I'm fucking ecstatic. I'm elated. Call me a fanboy. I welcome it with open arms.
Fanboy.
I'm a fucking AEW fanboy. With a small caveat, I can still look at the crap and admit that it's crap. But you know what? At least these guys aren't having their fucking Twitch revenue taken away. At least they're not being released in the...
So he's going to go ahead and take a shot at RVD. You know what? With that Twitch revenue that was taken away, you know what that did? They fucking hard bastard was talking about that shit. You know? So they got attention from their Twitch revenue getting taken away. Not to mention, that's what edgy content was. It's a hell of a lot more... It's a hell of a... And see, this is one of the things. This is one of the reasons why it's hard to go ahead and invest in AEW, is because this is their fan base. They're always trying to lecture everybody. Well, Impact, they do this. And Tessa Blanchard, she's a racist. And Jim Cornette, he's a racist. And you look at how RVD takes advantage of women. and they took off his Twitch. Nobody wants. That's not being. You're not being edgy. That's not being edgy. Edgy is going against the status quo, not going ahead and going with the mainstream narratives.
And by the way, Xavier Woods still does his gaming channel on YouTube, and Paige still does her Twitch stuff. So they didn't take everybody's Twitch away. So let's clarify that right there. God, this guy's a candy ass.
In the middle of a pandemic due to budget cuts in the most profitable moment of their history. And at least they don't have to answer to a scumbag like Vincent Kennedy fucking McMahon, a man that so many of you out there admire. And when this guy dies, you're going to call him
Who admires Vincent Kennedy McMahon? We may be thankful for the product, but I think even a large portion of the wrestling fans are kind of annoyed by Vince McMahon and the product he's put on in the recent years. So I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about.
No one's butt kissing Vince McMahon. All I've said was that AEW doesn't want to poke the snake with the stick a little too much because Vince will strike eventually. That's all I was saying. But
that's how they have to make it. That if you don't like their product, that means you're pro Vince McMahon.
Yep.
Or if you don't watch AEW, you're pro WWE. Can't be that the product just sucks.
a genius when he was anything but one of the worst human beings in the history of human beings. But I have this.
Even Hillary? I mean, you know, there's a lot of bad human beings out there, you know?
Mark Zuckerberg.
You know, Jeffrey Dahmer is looking at you and licking his lips if he was still alive and not raped by a damn broom in a prison. You know, you'd be right up his alley. Are you saying that he's... Go ahead.
I'm sure Hannibal Lecter would eat him with a nice fiber beans and a bottle of Chianti.
Oh yeah, and I tell you that Charlie Manson guy. You know, are you gonna put him over? You're gonna put him over Chuck? You know.
Okay, let me ask you what bad thing has Vince really done besides doing what any corporate America does, and they make money? I mean, what bad thing has he possibly done? What bad thing has he obviously done that's so horrible because he made a deal with Saudi Arabia where he gets $30 million a show?
Yeah, you could probably say maybe the steroid scandal. If you want, it depends on how you want to take it with the Owen Hart thing and being
right. Yeah,
you can look at that stuff. But was that intentional or not? I don't know. I'm not going to even imagine to say so. You know, he's probably not a good human being, especially by your standards. But to sit there and say that he's the worst human being ever, I don't know about that neither.
I mean, if Vince was the worst human being on the planet, he wouldn't be paying his wrestlers at all.
No. Yeah, it'd be like slave labor and stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't. It's AEW fans.
Have this. AEW. I'm going to watch the last half of this, and maybe I'll upload another video after that.
Oh, Lord.
I'll probably be on the floor in a puddle of my own urine out of excitement.
Oh, good
so
Lord.
Did he just admit he likes to drink urine?
He'll be swimming in it, apparently. I don't know what the hell this dude's doing. I'll be in a puddle of my own urine in the floor doing backstrokes because Kenny Omega's so great. Nut!
This guy is not a good human being at all. I mean, this is just...
It's pathetic. I pity him. I won't say that he's a bad person. I won't say he's an evil person. But definitely I pity this man. I pity him. I have nothing but pity for you.
I tell you what, if he ever came across me, I'd stomp him in the gut, wham! Stomp him in the second downs and he calls a neck and knock him out because I said so.
I'm still waiting for the day that he goes up and calls Brock Lesnar laser to his face.
My God. the horror if Brock got a hold of him.
I don't even care how I look right now. I just
Are you telling me you wouldn't
times are
join
good and
Shawn Michaels on purpose? Ah, I just wake up naturally in this ponytail and look like a poor man's version of Shawn Michaels. You know, if Shawn Michaels never hit puberty.
He is the ramen noodle of Shawn Michaels.
Even the second, it's just a second-hand brand too. Like, you know, you have Top Ramen, and then you have Mop Ramen, and he's the Mop Ramen version. Yeah,
in the wrestling world. I remember saying this back in like 2015 about WWE, but that's back when it seemed like things were trending upward, and then things just went downward. The way I see it, AEW is a professional wrestling organization. WWE is simply a content organization. Fart out a bunch of content, make the shareholders some money, get more TV deals, make more money for the guys at the top, and take more away from the guys at the bottom.
what the hell is this guy talking about? See, you watch the Young Turks too much, and that's why your shit doesn't make any sense. Stop watching TYT for your damn argument, because that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I mean, we only have 16 seconds left. I don't think I can do another 16 with him.
We're good. He's not going to say anything important. But this is the AEW fan base, man.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing about this whole situation is you know, I don't want everybody to think that we all just, oh my God, they must really hate AEW. They hate everything about AEW. They're WWE marks. I could tell you bad things about WWE. I can list them a mile long. Bad about WWE. I can list a mile long about bad about AEW. Wrestling in general is not as popular as it used to be. And some of you fans are trying to basically, hooray, let's get it back in. Let's get it back in. I mean, wrestling's real to me, damn it.
Yeah, and I think that a large problem with AEW is their fans. That's why they're going to, and a lot of it is you could hear by this video. They're always trying to lecture you and trying to make you think that they're better than you. But in reality, everybody knows that it's not true. You're a marginalized fan base. A lot of you are in no better position than anybody else. And the sheer fact that you feel like you're entitled to go ahead and push this stuff so hard on people and then lecture people who don't really care for it that much. No, it's just not interesting at all. And so it makes it now, instead of just not liking AEW, people just can't stand it. They're never going to give it a chance. And a lot of it has to do with their fan base. Like, I don't think that Brad's going to give it a chance. And I don't blame him. He's been shitting on the product longer than I have. And a lot of it has to do with the AEW wrestling fan base. It has to do a lot with the management and the marketing and the way that they try to pretend like they're this social justice warrior and they're better people. That's why you should like them. That's what the Democrats do. Oh, we're better people, you know, and we see how that's working out for them. They ended up losing in Virginia, right? Potentially, I haven't heard anything. They're afraid to call New Jersey. Theoretically, the Democrats have lost New Jersey too. It doesn't matter which way they call this election. Nobody's supporting you. And a lot of it has to do with the Democrats pretending that they're just a better caliber of people. Whenever everybody knows that it's absolutely 110% just the opposite.
You know, the biggest thing too is when you have independent wrestling companies, and I've seen some of them, MLW, they have title wrestling. They have a couple of independent wrestling shows on YouTube, and I look at them and I'm like, that is a lot better than what I'm watching on WWE and AEW. It's just It's the margin of the fact that they're just like, look, AEW fans want to look at it like, well, you guys should be happy because they have a company that's competing with WWE. Again, if y'all ever watch Bischoff's video, which I did a video on and I showed you what he said, he's actually rooting for AEW. He didn't really say anything bad about AEW. He was commenting on the fact that Tony Khan won't shut the fuck up. And he was commenting on the fact that, you know, the demographic, you know, well, let's look at SmackDown there. They were on Fox Sports 1, which is a 4-tier cable company. They're not, it's not USA. I mean, if it was on USA, then we have a little bit of a, then I can understand people being like, all right.
Like you said, it was a niche market because people tune into Fox Sports 1 to watch major sporting events like MLB, NFL. And so putting a wrestling program on Fox Sports 1, it's going to be kind of a shock. Oh, well, what's going on? Is there a baseball game? No, I'm not going to watch Fox Sports 1 then. So their market is on. So when they were moved to Fox Sports 1, then yeah, it's going to affect their ratings because of the baseball game. But you noticed, I was hoping that World Series would go on until Wednesday, Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah.
Then you would have actually had competition because ultimately AEW with Dynamite that's been pulling in these 900. Now they're in the 900,000s again. I mean, you know, about a few months ago, it was like down into the 400, 500,000s. This is without competition, really. You know?
I mean, you know, and here's the thing, too. They can say what they want about it. And here's the thing. When you try to say that they have a bigger demographic than Raw, you guys got to understand something. Raw is on Monday nights. They're on Wednesday nights. Raw's competing against Monday Night Football, who's getting bigger ratings and got more bigger demographic than WWE and AEW combined. So it's really not competition. Then you have AEW fans go, well, hold up, Kevin. Because when they came out with AEW, Vince McMahon put NXT against them on Wednesday nights. Okay. You know, he wanted to see and that's nothing wrong with that. He just wanted to see what the competition was like. He wanted to see what the fuss is. And you guys did beat them 60, 62, 63 times, which is okay. That's impressive because you beat a roster that only had Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano. When you guys had a roster of Sting, Jericho, Moxley, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and the Young Bucks. Of course you're supposed to beat them.
Yeah, and these are the same guys that they're bringing into their product.
Right.
These are the same guys that you beat that you're bringing into your product. And then you expect to go ahead and compete with WWE? No, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. So, I mean, they can sit there and say what they want to say. It doesn't matter. It only matters what's, you put on the product and what you're bringing in. And we can tell that even without the competition, it hasn't increased your ratings. And in some times, it's actually decreased your rating. So that means that, like I said, there are 89 million houses out there with TNT. Can you still hear me? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
And and without any real competition, they're still not bringing in any kind of real interest. So, I mean, they could say what they want to about Impact. You could say what you want to about Global Force Wrestling. But at least whenever they had a full roster and they could put on entertaining shows. I mean, like I said, whenever this goes to TBS next year, do you think that they're going to increase? Do you think that they're going to get more interest into their product?
And by the way, Tony Khan, I'll be honest with you. You shouldn't really talk shit about Ted Turner when you have your company Your company's getting paid to be on TBS and TNT. That T stands for Turner. If Ted Turner really wanted to tell his son, "Hey, take them off the air," TNT and TBS would take AEW off the air, and where would they go then?
I think that ultimately they're going to be taken off the air anyways, because TBS is trying to get in a partnership with Discovery.
Yep.
And yeah, whenever they see the numbers here, well, that's dead airtime. If you're going to do a business deal, you don't want this show that's not getting any interest. You're going to want to develop something and develop it quick and to fill that time slot with. So yeah, it's just wasted. It's a wasted time slot. So I can't imagine them wanting to keep AEW, and I think that Vince is going to end up picking it up anyways. And it almost seems like this is the whole. This is what they were trying to do from the get go. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing too. If AEW was smart, and say for example, Discovery buys AEW or buys TBS. If I'm Tony Khan, I would look at that as a good thing because you have Discovery Plus for $4.99. Make people buy the app to watch your show.
Oh, well, then his ratings will fall down even further. I'm thinking about joining the Impact thing, so I could get Impact Unlimited. If I get a job here pretty soon, I'm going to get Impact Unlimited, and then I'll be watching A&W Wrestling, and you get to all their stuff with it on the YouTube channel. And but if I'm Tony Khan, and I think that okay, all's about to fail, then why not sell it to somebody like a Billy Corrigan, and then we could maybe possibly redo the territories and whatnot. Maybe put those people that were summarily put out of a fucking job in ROH in charge of AEW, and then make it a territory system under NWA, and form agreements with Impact, form agreements with MLW, form agreements with Conan and Aztec Underground, and maybe even the House of Pain down there in Florida, the Masterpiece promotion, House of Glory. Is that what it's called? House of Glory? Yeah. And start making these territory-like system again, because AEW is not going to cut it, and they're not competition to WWE.
But Poston, what they're going to say, the AEW fans are going to come back at this video and they're going to be like, well, they're a 2.5 3-year-old company, I mean, that's pretty damn good for them being that young, So we're going to be hearing this again for a while. And my response to that is simply this. I'm not saying and I'm not denying that WWE hasn't stepped up their game since AEW's been back. They have. But when you hear Tony Khan say, well, I remember when AEW did their press conference for their first ever when they found out the business was coming down. Oh, well, we're not caring what WWE does. We're not gonna go watch WWE. That was horse shit. Absolute horse shit. You're not watching what WWE does. You're not wanting to take Vince McMahon out of business. Of course you do.
Well, I did the math, man. I did the video on it. The first episode of Dynamite got 1.4 million people. That was the very first episode. And whenever I do the numbers, whenever you look at the Twitter and you do the numbers and we go ahead and do some speculation, that was all the Impact fans, and that was all the NWA fans, and that was all the other independent fans combined. And now you've fallen under 1 million again. You get up to like 1 million, but you've never hit that mark again. That is your mark. Starting out with that 0.68 was their metric to start out. And ever since then, you have never been able to hit that from whenever you first began. I'm pretty sure that TNA in their first couple of years hit their mark to their first rating again before they got started getting into the 2 million. which they did.
I mean, you know, and this is from everybody that wants to know something about AEW wrestling and all this other stuff. You know, the biggest thing that I have a problem with this whole situation is just because we are talking bad about AEW doesn't mean that we love WWE. That's what some of you are delusional about. You think, oh my God, they're talking bad about AEW. They must be WWE butt huggers. And that's not the case at all. I mean, do I like what they're doing with Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar and all them? Yeah, absolutely. WWE's got bigger name talent. I'm sorry. I hate to burst your bubble, but they do. And you know, I'm a big fan of Kevin Owens. But if Kevin Owens goes to AEW, he fits in better over there. But I wouldn't blame Kevin Owens if he wants to get more money by using AEW as a tactic.
Oh, definitely. And like, you know, so I can't blame these guys for going to AEW, making a paycheck. I you know, there yet again, I don't know how much creative freedom that they actually have, to be honest with you. But, you know, because I think that that's a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff that they say, but they can't back up. But like I said, you know, whenever you look at, you know, because I get this all the time. Oh, you're just a Vince McMahon fanboy. Oh, you're just a WWE guy. I'm not. I haven't been. I was a fucking originator of going at WWE. But at least you know, there was something that I could point at to be excited about whenever Billy Corgan was running TNA. One of the reasons why I stopped doing the TNA videos is because I could point at stuff to like about TNA and say, this is what I like about TNA. And I would do the reviews. I would sit there and say, this is why this is good. You should check it out. And I was promoting TNA while I was sitting there trolling the WWE fans. These guys have nothing. They have nothing. I mean, I've tried to watch it. Like I said, you got Sting on the roster. And if you can't get me to watch it with Sting on the roster, then that's your fault, not mine.
Yo, what did I get? What did I get in here for?
Hey, we got Travis here.
Yeah, send me a link. What's up? You hear me?
Hey, yeah, you need to tell Steven Ross to give you my number.
All right.
Because I can't, I'm not on Facebook, so I can't give it to you. So that'd be the way as a Steven. That's how I had to do with Big Cliff here. Steven had to give him the number.
He's actually coming to Dallas in a couple more weeks. He said he wanted to come up here November 17th.
Oh, is he? I might. It just depends on the way it looks. I might consider, but I don't know. Like I said, right now, since I didn't take the VA.
Yeah, that night we're gonna go. We're probably gonna go over to Joseph. You know, Joseph Cabrera, the heel, the deep elm heel.
I thought his name was Trollsif.
Yeah, Trollsif. We're supposed to go to Joseph, then we're all gonna go to Joseph's old job, High Fives, and hang out.
So, what do you think about AEW wrestling, Travis?
I don't watch wrestling. No offense, it's fake shit to me. And I've never really been that big into wrestling. I don't watch it at all.
Your buddy Trollsif is an AEW fan.
Oh, he's got a shrine. Have you ever seen pictures? Have you ever been to his place? He's like places like a damn shrine for wrestling. He's got Money in the Bank belts, everything in there. Like and then he went and dressed as Rikishi for when he went to that WrestleMania in Tampa.
I saw him.
Yeah. Hey, I don't. If it's okay with you, I wanted to ask you. So, Holston, what's your reply to that Virginia? The Republicans taking Virginia. They're having a Republican governor now.
I meant, I think that I need to go and watch the Young Turks after I get off of this thing, because I want to see Anna Kasparian have a nice little breakdown. My little sugar mama, Anna Kasparian. You know, we got a love-hate thing going on. But
I don't mean to bring politics up, but I'm just saying it's about goddamn time the GOP has a spine.
Oh shit, my battery's about to run out.
Yeah.
I get this in. Well, we could end the stream. I think we've pretty much talked about
We've hurt their feelings enough, I feel.
Yeah. Oh, and wait till they see my picture that I put on here, and then they're going to even be more.
At least you could put thumbnails. I can't even do that. They
Yeah.
putting thumbnails on my damn videos.
And speaking of which, though, you know what, Paulson? I know you have the Rams picked in the Super Bowl, but isn't it kind of ironic that they're over the cap, but they got Von Miller in a trade?
I will say this: I actually have Browns winning the Super Bowl, but I do have them going to Super Bowl with it. Yeah, I don't know. Because it's hard to take anything in sports seriously anymore, because it seems like everything is kind of like WWE now. They just have to make these stories to get interest, which they shouldn't, because you got the Cowboys are up, your ratings are up, everybody's watching it and keeping up with it. So I don't know. I honestly don't know exactly. I heard something about it. Stephen was telling me about it earlier today, but yeah, I honestly don't know.
Is it scripted that Aaron Rodgers gets the fucking COVID and now he's out for Sunday? He gets Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, he didn't get the vax. He lied about getting the vax. Yeah, I kind of figured that they wanted the Kansas City. I picked the Kansas City Chiefs to win, so thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. I bet Matt Ogden's mad.
Yeah, my last week was shit for me. Man, it was shit.
Here. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of scripted. They beat the undefeated Cardinals. Now they're freaking going to probably lose to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
And I got to sit there and I watched that injury, Kev, on Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Dude, I did you see him get injured?
Not really, no. Well, I mean, his surgery was successful. Now they're talking about 6 weeks, and there's 10 more weeks left in the season. So I'm guessing he'll be back for the playoffs.
And I was going to say this real quick. Travis, hang on real quick. I just want to say this. Don't you think it was weird that he was 300 yards ahead of every fucking other running back, and all of a sudden he gets injured?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's the same thing as my Cowboys that won that game against Minnesota. I mean, you could tell it was kind of scripted. I'm a Cowboys fan saying this.
Yeah, so, I was like, because they want to have that showdown with us in Arizona, I think. Well, at least, to me, that's what it seems like. So that's why I was like, yeah, I think that they would rather.
Honestly, we play Arizona the last game of the season at AT&T. That's our last home game of the year.
So they're going to.
Kyler Murray ran his freaking mouth about blowing us out last year in the COVID year. So I kind of think that Dak and company might have a little bit of revenge for them, especially with J.J. Watt out.
Yeah, I think that they gotta keep the records at least fairly close. You know what I'm saying? So that way they don't want to have like a Cowboys go on a 4-game winning streak and then play the Arizona Cardinals and then
Because I'm gonna be fair here. Really, that Super Bowl was scripted last year. Everybody knows they wanted Brady to win that fucking Super Bowl, so it can look good. That look, I can win without Belichick.
But Brady's the GOAT.
Yeah, I know he is. I mean, I'm not.
Hey, what did I tell you, Travis? What did I tell you last year? I said, I don't like Dak going 60 times a game. I want to go ahead and utilize the run game. I want a Super Bowl. So let's go ahead and bring in Brady and just, move on from Dak and bring in Brady. And everybody thought I lost my damn mind. I just wanted a Super Bowl. That's what I wanted.
Well, eventually, I think we're going to get one eventually. I mean, even though
next year I have a.
I mean, I don't think I wonder who's going to come out the AFC because Kansas City's terrible this year. Tennessee just lost one of their best players. I'm not saying their best player.
Yeah, but Las Vegas and the Cowboys. That's what I have.
Because Tennessee still got A.J. Brown. He's still got Julio Jones if he's playing. Still got a few. But,
I told Big Kev, I said, man, you know, I'm not high on Malik Willis for like the Houston Texans, but I told Kev, if the Tennessee Titans picked up Malik Willis in the draft with fucking Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, and Julio Jones, holy shit, y'all would be a badass team.
Problem with the Titans is they don't have no defense. I hate to brag that. And that might kill them. I mean, it's already killing KC now. See, that's the problem. You pay all that money to fucking Mahomes, and you got a shit defense.